The Lost Treasure of Alexander. In search of an empire. Have you ever wondered if there are treasures hidden deep beneath the earth that history itself couldn't uncover? One of the greatest mysteries of ancient history is the lost treasure of Alexander the Great. When Alexander conquered the ancient world, no one could have imagined that the end of his life would mark the beginning of a great enigma. This story begins with a mysterious investigation as a modern-day scholar embarks on a quest to uncover Alexander's treasure, forgotten artifacts, and lost clues. Alexander the Great, one of the most famous conquerors in history, built an empire like no other. Yet, throughout his campaigns, some of his greatest treasures and artifacts mysteriously vanished. Perhaps Alexander hid something from the afterlife, a treasure beyond gold. During his brief reign, Alexander created a vast empire that stretched from Greece all the way to India. Yet, his treasures, books, and inscriptions were never fully found. Even after his death, his successors sought his treasures, but nothing was ever fully recovered. Why? What was hidden so well that even the greatest of men couldn't find it? Over time, no one was able to fully uncover the history of Alexander's treasures. Some scholars believe that Alexander deliberately hid his treasures to preserve his empire in the afterlife. But where did he hide them? What did he intend for future generations? When our modern-day scholar began to examine ancient texts and Egyptian inscriptions, he found references to a mysterious location in Central Asia that could hold the key to the lost treasure. This was the only clue he had. Could this be the treasure that was meant to change the course of history? The scholar sets out on his journey, heading first to Egypt, where he uncovers evidence of Alexander's relationships with the pharaohs. In one of the great temples, he discovers an inscription pointing to a hidden place in Central Asia. This was the first piece of the puzzle. As he travels through the Egyptian deserts, he encounters the harsh realities of the ancient world. The scorching heat, endless sands, and the silence of the forgotten tombs only seem to deepen the mystery. But he continues, determined to find the lost treasures of Alexander. In Central Asia, the journey becomes even more perilous. The scholar begins to uncover ancient scrolls that reveal not only Alexander's wealth, but his philosophy and vision for the future. These treasures were not just about gold or artifacts. They contained ideas, visions, and plans for a world empire, something far more valuable than any material possession. One of the scrolls reads, "True wealth is not in gold, but in the knowledge of the world's mysteries." Was this what Alexander sought to hide? Not treasure, but a legacy that would live on for millennia. As the scholar digs deeper, he discovers conflicting theories. Some suggest Alexander may have hidden an actual treasure filled with gold, jewels, and relics. Others believe that the true treasure was hidden knowledge, a wisdom passed down from the ancient philosophers. But how could a single man, even a conqueror like Alexander, carry such a secret? In one of his final discoveries, the scholar uncovers a final inscription that points to a secret chamber deep within the ancient city of Babylon. Could this be the final resting place of Alexander's treasure? The journey to Babylon is filled with challenges. The scholar finds himself traveling through ruined cities, with only the words of ancient texts to guide him. The lost city of Babylon, once the jewel of the ancient world, is now nothing more than a ghost town. But in its ruins, the scholar uncovers a hidden chamber, seemingly untouched by time. Inside he finds something unexpected, not a treasure chest, but a library of scrolls. These scrolls contain the true legacy of Alexander, the knowledge that was meant to outlast his empire. The true treasure of Alexander wasn't gold, but the ideas he wanted to pass on to future generations. It was a treasure hidden not for wealth, but for wisdom, wisdom that would change the world forever. As the scholar reads the final scroll, he realizes the impact of Alexander's vision, and the treasure he left behind is far more valuable than any material wealth. It was a treasure of the mind, of ideas that shaped the future of civilizations. Alexander's empire may have fallen, but his legacy lives on in the lessons he taught. The treasure was never meant to be found by those seeking riches, but by those seeking knowledge. The scholar, having uncovered the lost legacy of Alexander, now understands his true meaning of power and wealth. Alexander may have been a conqueror, but his greatest conquest was not of lands, but of ideas that would change the course of history. As the scholar leaves the ruins of Babylon, he reflects on the meaning of the journey. The treasure he sought wasn't just hidden in the earth, it was hidden in the minds of those who could understand it. And now, the world can begin to truly understand the lost treasure of Alexander. Perhaps the greatest treasure of all is not what we find, but the pursuit of knowledge itself. And so the story of Alexander's treasure continues to unfold. Not in the treasures of gold or jewels, but in the ideas, the philosophy, and the legacy of one of history's greatest figures. The search for his treasure may have ended, but the search for his true legacy has just begun. And it will continue to inspire generations to come. Thank you for joining me on this journey through history.